The science and the models are very clear. To get to humanity to meet the Sustainable Development Goals, we need three things. We need new technologies, we need regulation, and we need changes in behaviors. In our conversations, in my conversation with executives, very often consumer behaviors are considered unactionable and fixed. That it's not the case, it's a very actionable levers, and consumers are actually looking towards companies for help.
We embarked on a global sustainability study where we surveyed 23,000 people across 11 countries. We then followed up with one-to-one in-depth interviews to uncover the why behind the what. And then we also embarked on interactive shopping missions where we actually could observe what people did when they shopped. Consumers do have a desire to shop sustainably. 50% of consumers say that sustainability is in their top 4 considerations when they're shopping. However, with misinformation and misconceptions, even with the best intentions, consumers aren't always making the most sustainable choice. There's a myth that consumers who care about sustainability live in developed markets, that they're left-leaning, and that they're young. But through this research, we discovered that that just isn't true. We found that 79% of consumers in fast-growing markets such as China, India, and Indonesia have very high levels of concern for sustainability versus 55% of consumers in developed markets. We found that although there is a perception that sustainability is heavily politicized, that the vast majority of Americans actually do care about the environment. Globally, concerns for sustainability actually span generations with very little difference between older generations and younger generations. There are some countries, India, Japan, and France, where older people actually do care more than younger people.
There are 4 actionable levers for companies and executives to act on the insights of the research. First, strategy. Include consumer behavior change as a variable in your next 3, 5, or 10-year strategy cycle. 2, segmentations. Forget about the average consumers. There are consumers who will always pay for sustainable products. Consumers will never pay. You need to segment your consumer base way better than you do. Third, test and learn. Modern marketing and communication tools allow you to test the right words you use, to test the right explanation you give on your offer so that you can really adapt your messaging and your product to these various segments. 4, regulations. You have an indirect influence on regulation, and regulation helps accelerate the right behavioral change among consumers.
It's critical for businesses and governments to understand both what motivates people to shop and live sustainably, but also what barriers they face.
The main thing we learn in the research is that consumers want to change behaviors and can change behavior, and that most consumers change behaviors much faster than what executives give them credit for.
So we really hope that this study will fundamentally reshape the way that businesses and governments engage with consumers in the future, and that it's really time to take action now.